Hi, as I said I'd do, I thought I would just do something a little different this time round and do a video with some of my uh, more interesting cymbals. I actually own more cymbals than I do snare drums, which in itself is a little bit scary, but yeah, despite what it may seem. Um, I've said I've got lots and lots of cymbals. I've always been a big Paiste fan. I always will be a big Paiste fan. Um, and I've got more Paiste than I've got anything else. But I also started off as having a real big interest in Zildjians, well, particularly the Zildjian K line anyway. And in fact, my first ever cymbal, which came with my first drum kit, was actually a very old sort of 60s K. And I got that in probably, I think probably the late 80s, and I've still got it. I don't play it particularly. It was kind of beaten up and dented and keyholed when I got it. I did gig it originally, and I'd never get rid of it. It's a lovely cymbal, and I will do a separate thing on that cymbal at some point. I've also got some lovely 60s K hi-hats as well, which go perfectly with that cymbal. And again, they are kind of they're odd in themselves, but I'll leave that for another time. Cymbals that I thought I'd put on the kit today. Well, as you can probably see, most of these are Paiste, all except for possibly one, which is actually this one. So I guess that's a good place to start. This particular cymbal, I'll take it off, I got from a friend of mine, and he got it when we went to a drum show, probably in about 2000, 2001 maybe, that was run by a guy called Lou Dias, who has since passed away. Drummers in the UK will certainly know of Lou, and he was very big in the vintage world. Had a shop for a long time in Walthamstow in London, and he did a couple of little sort of they weren't drum shows in the sort of Chicago drum show sense. They were more, well, they were small shows. I think they had one or two guys playing, but it was certainly sort of, you know, shop guys and the odd sort of bring 'em by, sort of had that kind of vibe to it. And we went round. It was certainly one of the first that I knew of in this country as well. But we went down there and we had a wander around. And the guy I was with, he found this particular cymbal under one of the tables. And I know that he inquired about it, and he bought it for about £75. Now it doesn't actually have any markings on it. If you can really sort of see that, the only markings that it's got are on the bottom here and where it's been signed there. And I'm not sure if that's actually been signed with the company name, or it's been signed by someone, the guy who made the cymbal. But either way, it looks very Zildjian. It looks very sort of old Zildjian. But in fact, it's actually a Zilsala cymbal, and you probably never heard of that name, but you will have heard of the name that they became, which is Istanbul. And this was, I've got the, if you ever have a love of cymbals like I do, then you have to buy the Cymbal book by Hugo Pinksterberg. And I've got that in the other room, and it's a fantastic book. It's actually 21 years old this year. I only found that out yesterday when I dug it out, which was rather a surprise. But it's a fantastic book. If you like cymbals, you have to get it. It's got lots and lots of information in it, albeit it's 21 years out of date now, but it's still got a lot of interesting information about it in it, and it's a great book. But this particular cymbal, I think I found from that book some time ago. It was, I think this is pre-1984, before the company actually became Istanbul. It was certainly in the early 80s anyway. the exact date might not have been 84, I can't remember. But either way, this is a pre-Istanbul Istanbul. And it's an 18. It's stamped on here, as I said, it's stamped 45.5 centimetres, 18 inches, and it says medium on it. And the only other thing it says on here is the only authentic and handmade British, the only authentic and handmade Turkish cymbal, Istanbul. And it's got lots of very tight lathing rings on both sides. It's not a particularly sort of shallow bell, if you can see that. It's very sort of, it's a very average cymbal in terms of like the bell, the profile, the way it's been lathed and hammered. It's got lots of light hammering around the whole of it. But and it's got a stamp there, which you'll never be able to see, but it has got the stamp there, and again it just says made in Turkey, Zilsala, and then it's Mehmet and Agop, or however you pronounce his name, Istanbul. So it's a pre-Istanbul Istanbul. Now I got it because I kind of had I was kind of fascinated by it when my mate got it, and I don't think he ever used it. And one day he got in touch with me and said, "Do you want to swap it for some triggers?" Which I wasn't really using at the time, and I thought I would use this. Turned out I was actually wrong. I've never really used it, but it's a cool cymbal. I don't tend to mix brands particularly. I have a vast array of Paiste cymbals. I believe there's far more out there than there is in here. I have a small set of Bosphorus cymbals, which are on the Craviotto kit over there. I have an ever-growing set of Minor cymbals, which I actually only took off of here about 2 weeks ago, and I have a set of mostly Zildjian Ks, including the two that I mentioned, which are also out there, which I have been gigging a lot with recently, which has been a little odd because I've always traditionally gigged with Paistes or the Minors, because I'm not the most delicate of players sometimes, and the Zildjians are, the Ks anyway, certainly aren't really a line that lend themselves to a hard playing, but I have been gigging them, so they're out there, but I may at some point bring them in and put them on the Craviotto kit, which is behind where the camera is there. But anyway, getting back to this, as I said, it just says it's a medium. It doesn't actually say whether it's a crash or a ride. I've always taken it to be a crash. The only set of cymbals that this kind of really goes with is the Bosphorus. And once I've done this, I will possibly stick it over there with the Bosphorus and give it another go and see how it works out. But I'll play it in a minute, and you can hear how it sounds. But it's an interesting cymbal. I've never seen another Zilsala ever. In fact, I've never heard the name anywhere else either, actually. So it may be, I doubt it's a rare cymbal, but it's certainly got some uniqueness to it and some character. Moving on, the other cymbals I was going to do are some Paistes. I've got loads of odd little Paiste cymbals, some of which are on here, some of which I've put on here especially to do this. Normally I would have some of these other Sound Reflections 2000s on to match all the others really. But the next one is this little one, and I've mentioned this one before. This is a lovely cymbal. I had this made for me some years ago. In fact, if I can read the... Okay, so thanks to the miracle of modern science and the fact that my laptop decided to switch off halfway through doing this, and I didn't realise, you're not going to have to put up me doing this voiceover. So anyway, the cymbal was from 2006, and I think I approached Julian actually from Cymbals and asked him if they could ask if he could ask Paiste if they would make me a 12-inch Novo China, and after about a week of emails and stuff, they came back and said they couldn't. It was something to do with pressing the bell out. So, but they did do the 14. I never asked about 13. I don't know why, but anyway. So this is the 14-inch Novo China, to 2006. It's got prototype written on it because I don't know if they ever did anymore. It's certainly an unusual cymbal, I think. I really dig it. It's kind of more of an accent cymbal, like the 12-inch one. Actually, you can see on the right hand side of the picture. It's a very sharp sound, as you'll hear. I've always liked Nova Chinas. Ever since I first saw Charlie Benanti from Anthrax using them in the mid '80s, or maybe late '80s actually, when I was just starting to get into playing and stuff. I always thought they looked cool. Always thought they sounded really cool, and I think there actually you could just see me saying the same thing about the 12-inch China there actually. But yeah, they always look really cool. They sound cool, and there's a different sort of sound. I think Sabian's producing something now similar, but I haven't heard it. Okay, so the next cymbal is it's an odd one actually. I think I got this off of eBay, possibly 7 or 8 years ago, and it's unusual because well, you'll see in a second, but it's unusual because it's actually a 13-inch ride cymbal, and I can't remember. I haven't seen the catalogue recently actually, but certainly they weren't in the catalogue last time I looked. There you go. Look, it says 13-inch ride cymbal. It's not been cut down or anything. It is actually a 13-inch ride cymbal. It's a shame now actually you won't be able to hear the. I'm going to play it in a second, and there you go. So it's a shame that you can't hear how bad it is. It's a terrible ride cymbal. It really is. It's far too soft and pingy and uncontrolled, and it just sounds awful. Basically, as a ride cymbal. But I always had the plan to use it as a top hi hat, and what I'm going on about now is the bottom hi hat cymbal. There is an original series of the Alpha line. It's a Sound Edge, and I broke the original top hat from that set. Well, I cracked it really. It was only a little crack, but I went and got another one anyway. And then I thought I'd try those as a pair. So I did, and they actually sound really, really good together. I'm really pleased about that. I used them in a recording I did in about 2006, just a demo thing, and it sounded really cool. Quite soft. I mean, you'll hear all this stuff later on when the sound actually comes back on, but really quite soft, and sort of a delicate sound that the pairing makes. Anyway, moving to the last cymbal. This one's also a Novo China, obviously, as you can see. This is an 18-inch Novo China, and you can kind of see it looks really dirty, to be honest. I've cleaned it a couple of times, and I've never got anywhere with it. I cleaned it and I got this lovely sort of buffed silvery kind of colour out of it, and then it just, contact with the air and stuff, it just goes back to that horrible sort of goldy, well, it's not horrible, it's this goldy colour that you can see. But anyway, I can't remember if this was the second or third Novo China I got. I've got a 20 out in the other room. What I've just said there is as you'll see, it's got purple writing on it, purple script, and you can only get different coloured script if you are an endorser. Well, as far as I know, anyway. And The cool thing about this was that it came from it. Well, it was actually one of Charlie Benanti. He's one of his Novo Chinas, and because when I flipped it over, you can see the funny logo on it. That's the Anthrax Pentathrax, and yeah. So I can't remember what year the cymbal was made. It's very much a standard Novo China in every other sense, other than it's got a bit sort of previous ownership and history to it. And there you go. You can see the Pentathrax again on the back there. Really quite cool. I really dig it. It's I love Novo Chinas, as I said, different sort of sound, and I think I'll give them a bit of a play now when the sounds come back, and you can hear what they all sound like, in a kit context. But well, there you go. Sorry about that. I didn't realise the laptop had gone off, but well, makes it more interesting, doesn't it? Okay, so here we go.